sellers are coming to me and buyers too, but because they know they want to work with somebody who knows how to get the job done in this market. And so they want to go to the skilled professionals. And if you can market yourself as that skilled professional that's getting it done today, that's who's going to get the phone call. And as others fall away, you may end up being the only one out there at some point, which is a great opportunity. So
if you are in the business of buying and selling homes, specifically existing home sales, I think it is time to brace for impact. What do I mean by that? We have now had rates over 7% for several weeks and likely will for several weeks more. This will likely lead to less demand. It will likely lead to growing inventory and higher days on market. Also, truth be told, it will help new home builders. Why? Because frankly, they don't live in the 7% world. They live sub 6 and sometimes sub 5. But we're going to find out. We're going to talk with the one and only Beth Traverso from King County, aka Seattle, and see if 7% rates have done anything to her very hot market. Beth, what's going on?
Hey there. Good morning, Michael and everybody. Thank you for having me back. Yeah, so it's really interesting. I've been waiting. I'm bracing for impact, honestly. I'm braced and ready.
Yeah.
I've got my seatbelt on, ready for turbulence, whatever is coming our way. Because we've seen it, it's been a bumpy ride in real estate if you're related to real estate sales or mortgages in the last year and a half or so. And the rates are higher, and I haven't seen any bumps in the road here locally yet. We still are so close to almost zero inventory. Yeah. We looked at the numbers last week, and that was for March, but it showed inventory down in my east side part of King County was down 35% year over year over already low inventory. I was talking to one of my good mortgage broker friends this morning about that, like how those numbers are down, but it was down last year too. So we're looking at year over year down and then down again. People that are going to be in my line of work, if they're going to be successful, they're going to have to be tightening their belt and just being very, very cautious going forward if you want to remain above water.
No, I think this. I'm going to say it anyway. This could be the hardest year to be a real estate agent ever. Right? We're going to do something below, my guess, 4.3 million sales. Like this is existing home sales, 4.3. You obviously have the NAR thing going on in the background, which I'm sure is no fun. You're going to have less transactions, which means you have to tighten your belt, and you're going to have it's going to be a hard year, but frankly, it also could be the best year of your life. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm old enough to know, being over 50, that sometimes the hard years make you. And when you look back on the hard years, they're never fun to go through, but you look on them fondly in hindsight. And I hope for that for some of you, right? Again, it's not going to be fun. You got to brace for impact. You got to tighten your belt. You got to skill up. One of the things that if I was an agent today is I would be busting my ass trying to get my buyers to buy new homes. Because again, I called it. It's so awesome that I called this one. We got the new home sales report today, and it was up almost 9%. And the experts were saying less than 1. I'm like, you guys are idiots. What are you freaking experts doing?
They need to pay closer attention to your show.
Exactly. It had to be a massive beat because again, existing home sales, existing homes, 7, 8%. New home sales, sub 6. They have an unfair advantage. And you're just like, if you want to buy today, you're going to go buy existing home sales or existing, which may be a little bit cheaper, but 8% money, or you're going to go buy a brand new home, a little bit more money, but your payment is lower. Everybody buys on payment. I don't know why these experts are such idiots.
People are going to go for the lower rate. In my area, we have so little new construction and it's very, very high priced because it costs so much to build that I think we're a little bit outside the normal.
You're unique.
For that, but I know when you go to other areas, I even see it. You don't have to go very far from the Seattle area. We just go east over the pass to the next county over, and there's areas there where they're DR Horton's building these giant tracts of homes. I went and looked at it, and you can buy a brand new home for in the low 400s, which is almost, I mean, absurdly low for our area, where in King County, it might be more like 1.5 for your typical new home. But you go over there and you can buy a home for, 400,000 or thereabouts. It has 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and actually would make a great house hacking opportunity. It's a college town. We were talking about how parents are letting their college age kids they can be the owner occupant on, because some of these builders are not investor friendly, depends on the builder. But DR Horton, I didn't know what difference it made to them, but they were not investor friendly. But I'm just going off this one example, but they're saying is somebody might find it's a helpful tip, like the kid is the co-borrower, is the owner occupant. You can get FHA financing. You can get into this 3.5% down, and the rate was below 5. I don't know what it is today. This was a few months ago, but probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, probably.
And what a slam dunk. It had 4 bedrooms. You could house hack those other bedrooms out, and your kid, in this case, the college age kid could live there for free potentially. I mean, you want to make sure your kid's responsible, of course, but that scenario sounded like just music to my ears. Like, this is a great opportunity. So, even though I've only purchased new construction one time, and it was a different market, but I would definitely consider it if I was a buyer looking today, without a doubt. Why would you not?
Yeah, and again, if I was an agent today, that's the kind of stuff I would be doing. Because if the buyers are going to pull back at 8%, well, you got to sell something. Why don't you go get relationships? I would do floor plan walkthroughs. I would like have a book or an online presence of all the communities. Call me for this, call me for that. I know the secret code to get you whatever off and blah, 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 blah. Call me, call me, call me. I'd be selling new homes like hotcakes.
Yeah, and if you can get to know what incentives the different builders are offering so that you're bringing value as a buyer agent, because they have these site agents that are just working for the builder, right? But if you can make let people know your value as a buyer agent on these new home communities, you can say, we happen to know that this builder is providing this upgrade, or, if we ask, they're including credits toward appliances or what have you. There's always these little things, these incentives they can do. Or if they have you do a bidding process, you might know this is what their bidding process looks like, and this is how buyers are winning in this bidding process. And sometimes that relationship if you're a buyer's agent and you have the relationship with the site agents, that can really help too, because then they'll communicate with you better, and they want to stay in your good graces because they know you're going to be bringing buyers. So
it's again, if your job in a commission-based occupation is to help facilitate transactions, and if existing home sales,
back in the foreclosure crisis, it was short sales. Those agents that learned how to handle these annoying, fussy short sales killed it, crushed it. You had to be extremely patient, but that was where the market went. And those that are the real pros pivoted. People that have been around a long time in my business, they learn, and we don't really get too fazed by much, because like, oh, all right, here's this crazy thing, it was the pandemic, it was the foreclosure crisis, now it's this, rates or whatever, transactions down. We almost get strangely energized by that, because I think that people that are really good know that when it gets difficult, that's the perfect opportunity to really bring more value and increase your business, because whatever business you're in, it doesn't have to be real estate. When it gets hard, 90% of the people are going to drop out, and that is exciting. So those that don't are going to be extremely successful. And once the market shifts back, because the good times never last and the bad times never last, when it comes back around, who's going to be poised as the market leader when everybody's spooked and ran, especially with this NAR stuff and everything else? There's a lot of noise out there. And people that get to Chicken Little with all of this are going to back out and just quit. So
folks, do yourself a favor. You're going to be in this business, and I've already told you it's going to be hard. this year, and I don't have very much good news for you next year. It's going to be hard next year too. You just got to stay energized. You got to stay around people that are making investments. I really do mean if you can get through the next couple of years, I'm willing to bet $100 that in a decade you will look back on these 2 years fondly. I'm sure
Yeah.
they will not be fun to go through.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No.
But hard times sometimes are what builds us, and you can really come out of this stronger and have those stories to tell later. Because one of the things you get by going through fire is you build resiliency.
Yes.
And the
That's a
next time you're
perfect
in that
word.
fire is like, what? This ain't fire. This
Oh
is nothing.
yeah. Let me tell you about that. We love to tell our stories, it's veteran agents or real estate investors. We love our stories. And so this is just another story. But one thing I can say, there's two things that I've really come out stronger with in the last year and a half or so is number one, I cut out the fat. The faster you can do that, the better. Cut out marketing that's not going anywhere, expenses, whether it's personal or business, that are not bringing a return on your bottom line. Just be ruthless cutting that out. And then, because you need to make your overhead has to be sustainable. But those that cut their marketing out 100% are going to regret that, because if you're not I didn't cut back any of my successful marketing whatsoever. In fact, I grew it in other ways, that the ones that are the lead channels that are working and stuff, I put more into that. And now I'm reaping that, where I'm getting sellers are coming to me and buyers too, but because they know they want to work with somebody who knows how to get the job done in this market. And so they want to go to the skilled professionals. And if you can market yourself as that skilled professional that's getting it done today, that's who's going to get the phone call. And as others fall away, you may end up being the only one out there at some point, which is a great opportunity. So you have to lean up in the meantime so that you can make it through, and quit it, spending money on stupid stuff. If you haven't already, do it now. Don't worry about the flash and stuff. Like, honestly, whatever you see on Bravo or HGTV for real estate agents is fake, stupid stuff. People don't care about that. They just want to know that you have the skills and you can talk to them as somebody who knows, this is how we're doing it. Buyers, this is how we're getting offers accepted right now. Here's 4 strategies that we're using successfully right now. Sellers, here's how we're selling your home for top dollar today and getting you where you want to be. If you can be the person that can answer those questions and provide that direction, that's what people want, and that's what's going to make you successful now, whether rates go up or not. I'm hoping we don't. I'll be honest, I'm hoping we don't hit 8 again, but I'm feeling like we might, but I hope not. All bets are off as far as when it's going to go back down. It's kind of funny, earlier in the year everyone was talking about how many rate cuts are we going to have this year, and all the experts were talking about how we were going to be at 6 or high 5s, and it just goes to show you that nobody has a clue. So
yeah, amen to that. It's really fun to watch. So I'm just curious, when you look at your book of business the last 30 days, let's look at your listing side first. Still, without giving any exact numbers, still above list is very common.
Yes. Yeah, we're still selling above list. However, I am starting to see our normal seasonal trend, where in my Seattle area, but somewhere between Easter and Mother's Day, things start to even out a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm starting to see signs of it evening out a little bit. In some areas, the hottest areas are still just completely bonkers, but some other areas I'm starting to see where it might not have 10 offers and go 10 to 20% over list price. It might have 1 to 3 and sell for maybe a little bit over list price, which is fine.
It's
that's
healthy. That's okay.
Do not be afraid of that. That's a good thing. So we're starting to see that, but I'm not seeing much at all going under list price, even still, as long as it's priced right, because there is almost zero inventory right now.
Yeah, you're in your market's, at least based on last report, sub a month. And
I think it's going to be even lower, honestly, once April numbers come out, because there's some communities that I have listings in or have had where I was literally the only show in town that week. So
wow, that's nuts. So I'm curious, if we flip over to the buyer side, are you starting to see some buyers kind of pull back and say, you know what, maybe next time, maybe next month, the next year. Are buyers being turned off by 7 and 8% rates yet, or not really?
I haven't heard that. I'm sure there's other people out there that have, but I haven't. The people that I've been talking to are buyers, or people usually that have been, they're resigned to what the market is.
Yeah.
If anything, they think it may go up more. So there's no reason to necessarily try to time things by waiting. They have a lot of discomfort in their living situation that overpowers any half point in rate or anything like that. I mean, they're payment based, right? So they're going to be looking at what the difference is in the payment, but it would be good for these buyers if the competition does start to take its foot off the gas a little bit, because then, hey, great, you don't have to waive every single contingency, and you don't have to pay, record breaking prices just to get in the door. So if people don't have to go hundreds of thousands over list, they'll be saving some money on that may outweigh the little bit more they're paying in interest, which the general consensus seems to be that when rates come down, prices are just going to go up. So in some ways for a buyer, it's better if the rates are higher because you don't have as much, my market you don't have as much competition, as long as the payment's comfortable for you within your budget and you can refinance later. I've never used that line of, what is it? Date the rate, marry the house, date the rate. I'm not saying that, you got to make sure you're willing to marry that rate too. But if it's just a bonus, if it goes down later and you can refi, great. But you can't count on that.
No, you can't count on it. It's really the housing market, especially for transactions. You got to brace for impact. But bracing for impact is smart. You can still make moves, right? You cut off some marketing, you invest in others. You can scale up and do new homes. There's lots of ways to look at this in a positive lens. And again, 2 years from now, a lot less competition. This NAR nonsense will be whatever it is. It'll be settled by then, I would think. And again, I look forward to going through the hard times because I find out what you're made of, and you just get stronger.
You do. And again, this is the time to treat your business like a business. If you're in real estate, there's a whole lot of hobbyists out there, which it's going to be a wake-up call. They're going to need to really sharpen their skills, get the mentorship or coaching, whatever it is that you need to learn how to do this better, ideally from people that have been through tough times before. Talk to agents that are being successful right now, learn from them. We're a group that really loves to share. I find successful people love to help others. As long as you take action. It's hard to help others when they don't take action, but and buyers, there's going to be opportunities out there. Listen to people like Mike who are going to give you the tips. So like going to new construction is going to be where it's at. It's going to continue to be hot. And finding things off market. We've been having success for our buyers looking at canceled listings from mid 2022.
I like that.
So mid 2022 was when the rates skyrocketed and a lot of sellers had to abandon their plans at that time. And they still want to move. They've just been in limbo, kind of a holding pattern since that time. Some of them, So what we've been doing is just kind of looking back through the history. Oh, this is one that was on the market. It never sold. Reach out, make contact. Hey, are you still interested in selling?
It's a different market now.
Get an off market deal done that way. So look for those opportunities too. Those are the good ways to find the motivated sellers out there.
Beth, you are amazing. You are in the top 1% in the country for a reason. If somebody in the audience wanted to get a referral to a top 1% agent in their market, how do they do that?
Yeah, so I'm easily found at BethTraversogroup.com.
Awesome. Go look her up. Say hi from One Rental at a Time. Beth, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.